Hi, my name is Ibra Swaila, Nometrics BB231611059. Today I will present my answer for part 1. So this is overview of data. Okay, first for relative frequency, based on the chart show the lowest for relative frequency of production cost is in interval 90 up to 110, which is only 0.07 but more higher than the lowest relative frequency of profit margin in interval 31 up to 35, which is 0.03. Meanwhile, the highest relative frequency of profit margin is interval 10 up to 30, which is 0.33, and the highest relative frequency of profit margin is interval 23 up to 27, which is 0.37. In conclusion, for production cost, the distribution is skewed toward lowest range, with most costs falling in the 10 up to 30 range. For the profit margin, the distribution is centered around the 23 up to 27 range, forming a bell-shaped curve that indicates a more symmetrical or normal distribution. For cumulative relative frequency, based on the chart shown, the lowest for cumulative relative frequency of production costs is interval 10 up to 30, which is 0.33, and the lowest cumulative relative frequency for profit margin is interval 50 up to 90, which is 0.07. Meanwhile, for the highest cumulative relative frequency of production costs is interval 90 up to 110, which is 1, and the highest cumulative relative frequency of profit margin is interval 31 up to 35, which is 1. In conclusion, both graph illustration cumulative distribution, which help identify how data value are distributed across different range. A steeper slope in a segment indicate that a larger proportion of data fall in that range, while the flatter segment suggests few data points within that interval.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello, my name is Muhammad Nazrun bin Nazri and my number metric is BB23110202. I will present part 2, calculate and compare measures of central location between the two key performance indicators. First and foremost, the formula of mean is sum of all data points divide number of data points. After the calculate, I got the mean production cost is 49.47 million and the mean profit margin is 24.02%. This shows the central tendency of production cost is higher while profit margins remain steady. The median production cost is 46.25 million and the median for profit margin is 25.35%. These figures indicate that 50% of data falls below these values, offering a balanced perspective. The mode of production cost is 36.2 million, suggesting it is most commonly occurring value in the dataset. The profit margin dataset is multimodal, such as 21.2%, 22.1%, 23.3%, 26.3%, 27.6%, and 30.0%, appearing frequently. For the conclusion is, this comparison highlights the distinct characteristic of both indicators, emphasizing their spread and central tendencies. Understanding this matrix provides valuable insight into production, efficiency, and profitability trends.
Hello, my name is Nurzila Miti Karim and my matrix number is BB23161094, and I will be presenting my answer for part 3, which is calculate percentiles and construct box plot for each of the two key performance indicators. These are the position and value that I got from part 2. These are the calculation for percentile of the production cost. So after I get the answers for L25 and L75, the next part will be calculate for the outliers. So the outliers that I have got is negative 30.62 and 121.57. So any value smaller than negative 30.62 or larger than 121.57 considers an outlier. So in this case, there is no outliers. These are the position and value that I got from part 2 for profit margin. These are the calculation for percentile for profit margin. So after I got the answer for L25 and L75, the next part will be the outliers, same as the production cost. So the outliers that I got for profit margin are 13.51 and 35.81. So in this case, any value smaller than 13.51 or larger than 35.81 considered an outlier. So same as the production cost, there is no outliers. This is the box plot for production cost based on the percentiles that have been calculated. These are the box plot for profit margin based on the percentile that have been calculated.
Hello, my name is Enyong Kangfoy, no matrix BB23160967. Now I will present my answer for part 4. First, we have to find range for production cost and margin profit. The formula will be used is range equals maximum value minus minimum value. So range for production cost is 85.4 million. Meanwhile, range for profit margin is 14.9%. Secondly, mean absolute deviation or MAD. MAD is a statistical measure used to quantify variability or spread in a dataset. How to calculate MAD is by follow the formula given. First step to find MAD, we need to calculate mean, and after that, all of the data for production cost and profit margin one by one minus with mean. All the absolute deviation are assumed, resulting in a total of 649.54. After that, the total of absolute deviation divided number of data points, which is 30. So the MAD for production cost is 21.65. Besides that, same as the production cost, profit margin can get the MAD after all the absolute deviation are assumed, resulting in total of 93.62. After that, divided number of data points, which is 30. So the MAD for profit margin is 3.12. Thirdly, variance and standard deviation are statistical measures used to describe the spread of data points in relation to the mean. Variance measure the average square deviation, while standard deviation is its square root, making it easier to interpret in the same unit as the data. How to calculate variance and standard deviation is followed by the formula given. After that, the sum of square deviation is 18,736.76, and dividing this by 30 minus 1 and gives the variance for production cost is 646. 0.10. The standard deviation is the square root of variance, which the answer is 25.42. Besides that, for profit margin, the sum of square deviation is 419.27, and dividing this by 30 minus 1 and gives the variance for profit margin is 14.46. After that, how to get standard deviation is square root of variance, and the answer is 3.80. Fourthly, coefficient of variation. CV is a standardized measure of dispersion. Besides that, CV shows the ratio of the standard deviation to the mean, making it a useful metric for comparing variability across different datasets or metrics with different units. The standard deviation for production cost is 25.42 and the mean is 49.47. The CV for production cost is 0.51. This means that the production cost variability is about 51% relative to its mean. Besides that, for profit margin, the standard deviation is 3.80 and the mean is 24.72. The CV for profit margin is 0.15. This indicates that profit margin are less variable compared to production cost.
My name is Alice Sanchez, BB2316097F, represent part 5, which is calculate and interpret measure of association between the two case performance indicators. First, we have to calculate the production cost and the profit margin, which is for the production cost. The data of the production cost we minus the mean, which is the mean is 49.47, and also the profit margin, the data of the profit margin also we minus to the mean, which is 24.72. If we get all the data from the production cost and the profit margin, which is we multiply them, we get the total of the production cost and profit margin, which is we got negative 2,513.9. Second part, we need to use all the data before to find the covariance and correlation coefficient. So we use the formula for covariance and use the data, which is negative 22,538.9. We divided to all the data for production cost and margin cost, which is 30 minus 1. So we got the answer for the covariance is negative 86.69, and we use the data covariance to find the correlation coefficient. We use the formula and we divided to the variance and standard deviation from the part 4. So we got the negative 86.69 we divided to the 25.42, multiply the 3.80, we got the correlation is negative 0.90. So for the final answer is we get the negative 1 is smaller or same as negative 0.90 and smaller than plus 1. So based on the correlation, it shows if a nearly linear relationship between the variable X, production cost, and Y, profit margin. Because the correlation is negative 0.90, which means the change in profit margin is very predictable based on the production cost. So the direction is negative because we got the correlation is negative, which is negative 0.90, and the strength is weak relationship because it's close to zero, but possibly it can imagine as a strong relationship because it goes to +1.